Good morning, Bucknutters. Welcome to the Morning Five on Monday, September 8th, 2014. I am Dave Biddle, and I'm joined by Dwayne Long. Ohio State lost to Virginia Tech 35-21 Saturday night at the Horseshoe, and afterward there was plenty of blame being passed around by fans. Dwayne, let's play the blame game here ourselves. Who do you blame most for the loss?
Jim Bowman. Jim Bowman is why we do not have enough veteran offensive linemen. You lose a class, you should just rebuild. It should just be a matter of, okay, this guy's played some, throw him in there, and this guy in there, and this guy in there. That class, that I believe it was 2011, Jim Bowman's last full class, he brought in 4 guys. One, Brian Bobeck never played a down here. Tommy Brown never played it down when the game's still on the line. I don't know if Chris Carter ever played a down on offense. The only player out of that entire class who's played it all is Antonio Underwood, and that was because we had to play. That class, offensive linemen, it's so important that these guys play together, gel, get stronger, get bigger, just grow up and learn the technique, and we don't have them in the system right now. Billy Price is a redshirt freshman, spent most of his time at Ohio State on the defensive side of the ball. We move him over, and that's the one kid. It's a redshirt freshman. Then you've got a couple of other guys in there. I don't care what they want to print, Jacoby Bourne size. The guys weigh 250, 255 pounds. Elfline's not much bigger. I don't care what their list of weights are. We're not big enough, for one thing, inside. We don't have any experience. The line has fallen apart. We can't do anything. We've got all kinds of talk about Herman and whether Barrett's the guy and just all this conversation. We have to get the line under control. We have to have a solid offensive line. I don't know if we'll see one like we had last year. Not for a while. Hopefully we do. Right now, they're not even close. They were destroyed. They got beat up enough against Navy. They come back in this game and just get taken apart. The offensive line has to be rebuilt. That goes back to recruiting. That's Jim Bowman. Numbers. That's another thing. Bowman liked to keep the class small. I'll never understand that. Offensive linemen have the highest war-shot rate of all college players except for quarterbacks. You need to keep the numbers up. We got low numbers. The guys that he brought in just did not give us anything. I think we got 2 starts. How many did Underwood start? I know he started 1. He may have started 2 games. We just don't. That class was just a fail. So
yeah, Underwood started. I think he started his freshman year like at right tackle over J.B. Shugarts against Indiana. I remember that Antonio Underwood all of a sudden was playing tackle. And yeah, to answer one of your questions, I don't think Chris Carter ever played it down of offensive line for the Buckeyes. He moved to defensive line last year, got in there a little bit. I don't think he's played yet this year, so that was a complete fail. You're right. And sticking with this, at least with the current coaching staff, Tom Herman and Luke Fickell are taking a lot of heat, Dwayne. Herman for his lack of imagination offensively, Fickell for not playing Raekwon McMillan over Curtis Grant, among other things. What do you make of that? What do you make of the criticism of Tom Herman and Luke Fickell? Do you agree with it? Just what's your take on that?
Well, I'm frustrated with Fickell in general because of his refusal to play younger guys. Now, in this case, you have to look at specifically. You have to look at the fact that Curtis Grant, he's a pretty good football player with the football in front of him. But once he's got to start backing up and looking to cover in space or pick somebody up. I actually saw him turning in circles twice on the football field. That should never happen. He is so lost in coverage. The defensive line had this shut down, Dave. They had the top two rushers in the game for Virginia Tech had 58 yards rushing together, and 38 of it came on 2 runs. 24 came on 1 run. So they had the defensive line had the running game bogged down. We should have had a guy in there was going to help better with the pass. We were getting killed with a tight end and fullback. That right there is nothing but linebacker and safety coverage. Just I don't understand that. And it's just that unwillingness to play a young guy. And what happens? Grant has to go out, and the very first play, Quan comes in, gets tackled for loss. I just don't get that. On offense, I am very frustrated with Herman. I got to tell you, I've been very supportive of him, but I do not understand. I think a screen pass, draw plays, those things were created to deal with an aggressive, attacking defensive line, and we didn't throw one. If we threw one, I don't remember it. How do you not throw the long handoffs, the slip screens, all these things that are going to make a team that is too aggressive, they're going to make them think twice. Maybe we could have backed them off a little bit, gave our line a little bit of help, just with the play calling, by making Virginia Tech have to at least think about, okay, they're going to throw the ball outside, they're going to get outside of us, and we got a whole lot of people packed in the box. 8 in the box. I watched consistently 8 guys in the box, 1 deep safety, because they knew they were going to get there. They were just coming, and we never changed that. So I get a little frustrated sometimes with just the repetition that he's just determined that we're going to keep doing the things we're doing even when they're not working, and that continuing to do the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. That's the definition of insanity. And that's pretty much what was going on Saturday night. Why not try something else? They're very simple plays. It's not like we would have gone to a more complicated thing. It's something we did all week against Navy. We started out the game throwing slip screens, throwing the long handoffs. I don't get that. Why we couldn't go to that, get outside of those guys, 8 men in a box, and make them chase us. We've got great skill players. Right now, we got a very suspect line. Don't make them dominate a game like they used to last year. I bet you we would have just blew those guys off the line like with last year's line. We don't have it. What we do have is a lot of skill, a lot of speed. Let's get outside and get the ball into those guys' hands. I'll never understand that. So I understand the frustration.
It was obviously a big recruiting weekend for Ohio State. Matthew Burrell, the big offensive lineman, took his official visit. It sounds like he will be a Buckeye. His mom was going around introducing herself to everyone, and as one source told Bill Kurelic, why would she do that if her son wasn't planning on becoming a Buckeye? Bill Kurelic has much more in his What I Am Hearing column. Burrell is ranked as the number 5 offensive guard in the country, number 96 overall player. He's a 4-star recruit for the 24/7 Sports Composite. Bill Kurelic also has items on Jerome Baker, A.J. Alexander, and DeMario McCall in his What I'm Hearing column. But the bottom line is it sounds like a matter of time before Matthew Burrell commits to Ohio State. We will keep you posted on that. To let you know what's coming on the site later today, we will interview Urban Meyer at 11:45. We will have a story and video posted on that before 1 p.m. Then we'll interview assistant coaches Chris Ash and Stan Drayton, plus players Tyvis Powell, Ezekiel Elliott, and Michael Thomas. We will have stories and bolts and videos on the site throughout the afternoon on what the assistants and the players have to say. It was great meeting some of you out there at the tailgate before the game on Saturday, some of the guys from the Rant Thread. Very nice meeting you guys. Thanks to everyone for listening to the show. Thanks to Dwayne Long. Take it away, best damn band in the land.